me same, but I'll know never to make the same mistake again. You can tell me to my face, or even on the phone. You can write it in a letter. Either way, I have to know. Did I never treat you right?
Ladies and gentlemen,
Did I always start the fight?
all saints,
Either way, I'm going
in
out
Never
my
Ever,
mind. All the answers to my
helping us to introduce this video. Ladies and gentlemen and ladies and gents, again, as always, we're going to have a discussion. We've been talking, dealing with mortgages and trying to help people. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about the best argument people can bring in court from this point forward. I'm going to show you some things. I want you to pay attention to what's being said. It doesn't matter what court case it is. It doesn't matter what they say or how they say it. Now, before I go on, I want to let you know there is a British television series that's out. Those of you who watch movies by streaming online, look for it. It says the name of the show is called You Don't Know Me. Because of the title, I decided to click on it and check it out. And after the first 15 minutes of this show, you better believe I was paying attention. Now, so far, there are only 4 episodes, but I guarantee you, you're going to appreciate You Don't Know Me. All right, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, many of you, and it doesn't matter, even if they charge you or accuse you of violating common law, causing harm to another human being, they cannot charge you with a penal code violation. They cannot charge you with a so-called United States Code violation. Why? Well, let's show you. I got to open some browsers, so y'all just be patient with me while my browsers will... Oh, you're about to open up your browsers? Oh, that is so nasty. Shut up. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to show you something. We've covered this in a couple of videos over the past 12 years. Prima facie. Get this word in your head, learn it, understand it, get it in your head. This is presumption of law, ladies and gentlemen. That's what prima facie is. Web root. You blocked a process. What process you blocking, Web? Oh, okay, sorry. I have a software, it's called Natural Reader, and I have a bootleg version. And so that's web root saying, hey, that thing is trying to connect to the internet, and we ain't gonna let it. Okay, web root, ladies and gentlemen. I put it and I blocked that program from accessing the internet. Whew. Oh, by the way, I want you to see this definition. True, valid, or sufficient at first impression. Apparent, the theory. Prima facie, ladies and gentlemen, is appearances. That's all prima facie is. It appears to be a fact. It appears to be the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, appearance is not a fact. Okay, overview. Prima facie may be used as an objective meaning, sufficient to establish a fact. No, a fact stands on its own feet. It don't need no support. Pay attention. A fact is the truth. The truth doesn't need somebody coming and saying, hey, I'm the truth. Look, the saying was, you will know the truth. So let's talk about how prima facie is your best friend. How prima facie evidence is your best friend. Watch this. This is a legal term. And I want y'all to understand, We're going to cover prima facie evidence first. Now, look, Gabiru, you see how it takes me right to the junk and we ain't got all that other junk put on this? It takes me right to what I need and it don't take me all over the world? Evidence sufficient to establish a fact. Ladies and gentlemen, evidence sufficient. An objective meaning, the same thing, even with evidence. It's objective. In common law jurisdictions, a reference to prima facie evidence denotes evidence that, unless rebutted, would be sufficient to prove a particular proposition. You have the right to remain silent. So because you remain silent, they can use whatever evidence they got to convict you. Why? Because you didn't rebut it. Ladies and gentlemen, they don't even have to have factual evidence. They just have to have evidence. They just have to have evidence. So let me show you how this violates the law. Song in my background is LTD's Lady Love. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to understand something about prima facie and laws. Okay? Because all of the laws of the United States that you see being enforced in this country is prima facie. Let's go ahead and see. Pay attention. The term prima facie, it's a legal term, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a word. It's not two words. It's a term. It's called legal terminology. This is how they get you. The term prima facie is used in modern legal English. There is no such thing as legal English. Ladies and gentlemen, that's why this is Wikipedia that this is coming from, including both civil and criminal, to signify that upon initial examination, first appearances. Prima facie is a legal term and claim that has sufficient evidence to proceed to trial or judgment. Sufficient at first sight, at first view. Yeah, it appears that it might be evidence, but it's not actual evidence. We're not there yet. I need you all to get there with me. Many of you, if I were to tell you straight out what your argument is, you would go out and you would start speaking and opening and closing your mouth and you wouldn't know how to prove your point. So let me tell you your point. The term positive law has long been established, meaning in legal blah, 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 non-positive law titles are prima facie evidence of law. Do you not know that legal evidence, that's what it's going to tell you? This is ushousecode.gov. They're going to tell you that, ladies and gentlemen, there's no such thing as legal evidence. Okay? There is no such thing as legal evidence. This page right here is your best friend. Get to know it, study it, understand it. This lets you know that the codes are not law. By the way, each one of your states has a very same code. Go in case text. Hold on. Let's see. Where's case text at? Give me a second. I do have it open because I was in it earlier today. Let's move case text on down here so it's closer to what I'm doing. Because we doing prima facie, and so we going to have case text. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I got to get case text to actually open. The only problem is I lost prima facie evidence. Positive law codification. So there it is right there. So we're going to bring case text all the way down here next to my positive law codification so I don't get lost, okay? All right. And that's just me proving that non-judicial foreclosures are summary proceedings. Looking up the actual laws that say that, see? On the other hand, non-judicial foreclosure proceeding, the burden rests on the homeowner. Well, the next set of laws talks about how it is a summary proceeding. Power of sale triggers a more summary procedure than a formal foreclosure proceeding. All right, want you guys to pay attention. Now, watch this. I'm going to put revised. Many of you don't have penal codes in your state. You have revised statutes where they have revised them. Ladies and gentlemen, why are they revising it? Okay. I don't want to go there. I want to go here. I was about to say this is called Unreal and it's by Bloodstone. And I just heard the voice. I haven't heard this song before, but I understood this. Pay attention. This is for, misery. Okay, the state of misery. This section further provides that revised statute shall be prima facie evidence of such statute. Now, I just want you guys to hold on. Revised statute or prima facie evidence of such statutes. Just want to make sure you guys understand that even in all states, the Nevada revised statutes merely constitute the official codified or codified version of the statutes of Nevada and may be cited as prima facie evidence of law at first appearance. Remember, prima facie means at first appearance. It appears to be law. Hold on. The actual laws of Nevada are contained in the statute, blah, blah, blah. The actual laws of Nevada. So what you need to understand is no court gets to try you off of something that is not law. Prima facie is not the law. Hold on now, we haven't gotten there yet. You need to understand this first. You go into court and open your mouth and start blah, 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 blah. That ain't doing you no good. Let's get away from Nevada. We want to find another state. That's another Nevada. That's another Nevada. That's another Nevada. That's another Nevada. But you see, Nevada is definitely letting you guys know that their junk is only prima facie. These are all Nevadas. I don't want Nevada. The 8th Circuit. Delaware adopted and continues to follow the original version of blah, 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 blah. Nope, that ain't it. This is Oregon. The version of the statutes adopted by the Deadly Code is, or Deady Code, without substantive changes, the same version codified today in the Oregon Revised Statute. Ladies and gentlemen, all the statutes in every state, all of the pay attention, need you to pay attention, all of the penal codes in every state that has been codified, anything that's codified, ladies and gentlemen, is prima facie. Why? Because the code is not law. Why? Because the supreme law of the land is your state's constitution's Bill of Rights. Go ahead. Go ahead. Give me 1 second. See, these don't say prima facie evidence, but all the ones above it do say prima facie evidence. Okay. We put revised statutes. Let's get PENALCOAD. I promise you I'm getting to a point, but I need you guys to stay with me to catch up to me, because you're not there yet. You don't know where I'm going just yet, but you're going to get there. Okay? Don't want no... Wait, whoa. Constitutional law, criminal procedure. Okay, that will do for me. And prior administrative and civil action, plaintiff has previously filed blah, blah, blah. Nobody asked for a prima facie state penal code. That's all I'm looking for. And look at that. They actually put something in Espanol. Interesting. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to see if any of these speak about prima facie. So I'm going to have to... Give me one... Oh. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sitting up here trying to get to the point and having so much on my mind. No wonder all that other junk pulled up. This section is part of the state's criminal code. Ladies and gentlemen, codes are not law. They never were. The Constitution is not a code. The court in Shannon noted that the penal code was drawn from 1850 draft code of criminal procedure of New York law. You guys need to understand, this junk is not law. It never was. That's why K.C. Davis could say that anytime the court is enforcing a statute, that the fundamental principles of law, administrative law, says that they possess no judicial power. Here's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. You guys accept it by walking into those locations. Now pay attention. Arizona statute was adopted from California. Adopted. The people didn't elect that junk. The Congress didn't make those laws. They borrowed them from someone else. Okay? Just that simple. Okay. What point are we making? Want you to get it. I'm going to bring you to the point now. There's no need for me to beat around nobody's bush. This is Patti LaBelle, and she's talking about how sometimes love does all kind of things when you look at it from a human perspective. But, ladies and gentlemen, since the scriptures say Jehovah is love, then love doesn't act that way. Ladies and gentlemen, this is dealing with Playboy Enterprise Incorporated versus Superior Court. The Constitution is the supreme law of the state. The Constitution is the supreme law of every state. Pay attention. Many of you may not get it, may not understand what I'm getting at right now. The Constitution is supreme law of the state. This is Oklahoma. Every state's constitution is supreme law. The duty of the court to do this arises from the fact that the Constitution is supreme law of the state. Ladies and gentlemen, the law is the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. The duty of the court is to do that arises from the Constitution, the supreme law of the state. Now that's Wisconsin. Let's see if this was also Wisconsin. Yeah, they're both Wisconsin. That's why they say the exact same thing. This is New Jersey. Constitution is supreme law of the state. What is this? North Dakota. Constitution and the laws of the United States are the supreme law of the land. Ladies and gentlemen, the laws of the United States is the Constitution. Go ahead and find out that the United States Constitution is supreme law of the land. You guys have heard that phrase before. This is North Carolina. The Constitution is the supreme law. The Constitution is supreme law. North Carolina. That's another North Carolina. Don't want to see North Carolina. This is Florida. Constitution is supreme law. Every single state, the Constitution is supreme law. Now let's get away from the supreme law. Watch this. All you got to do is put in supreme law of the land in Google, and you will see it. Just type in United States Constitution, supreme law of the land, and you will pull up. This is Gladys Knight in my background, and she's singing Somehow He Loves Me. The Court of Appeals is a court of law. Hold on. Don't worry about the court of record, ladies and gentlemen. I know you've heard so many people talking about courts of record. We don't care about a court of record. The law court sits as a court of law. Just want to make sure y'all pay attention to what we're focusing on. The court is the general jurisdiction trial court of law. Hold on. Nevertheless, this tribunal is a court of law. Now that's Louisiana. This is Delaware. This is, what is that, Maine? And this is Michigan. Okay, that's 4 different states. Let's do another one. Just so you see that this is every state. Sorry, this ain't the touchscreen one. This is Missouri. Finally, we are asked to decide this case as a court of law. Wait a minute, they don't always sit as a court of law? Lord have mercy. So let me break it down to you so that you guys get this. and I'm doing this without a headset, without my Bluetooth. So I'm going to check the video before I put it up, because if you are not getting this information, then you will never get it. Ladies and gentlemen, you are supposed to be tried in a court of law. You're not supposed to be tried in a court of administrative presumption. There is no such thing as a court of presumption. The supreme law of the land does not permit a court of presumption. The court is supposed to rely on facts, not presumptions. All of that is an invention and creation of the courts, ladies and gentlemen. The law never gave them the right to do presumptions. They're getting it from the fact that an individual could not be tried until proven guilty. So they claim there is a presumption of innocence. There's not a presumption of innocence. The law holds that a person is not guilty until it is proved by a tier of the facts. Hold on, we'll talk about that in a second. These are supposed to be courts of law. This, of course, is a court of law, and it must be guided by the law of its jurisdiction. Ladies and gentlemen, the Constitution is supreme law of the land. There is no case law or statutory law within the court's jurisdiction. Ladies and gentlemen, you see they said case law and statutory law. These are prima facie. None of these are law. And you have to go there documenting what the supreme law of the land is in that courtroom. So the first thing you ask, is this a court of law? That's your first question. That's one of your questions. You want to put a constitutional question, is this a court of law? Then why do you rely on presumptions? Why do you rely on prima facie law? Prima facie is not law. Prima facie is not even evidence of the law. Evidence of the law is the actual law. Pay attention, y'all. Evidence of the truth is the truth, not what appears to be evidence. They are hitting you across the head with presumption after presumption. So ask them, is this a court of law? Get them to say it. You didn't answer my question. I don't want to hear all that other junk. Yes or no? Is it a court of law? Well, if it's a court of law, then I must object to your use of presumptions, because the law does not recognize a presumption in this instance. The code is not law. Show me in the Constitution where this is the law. Ladies and gentlemen, all crimes are commercial. Now, hold on. Go back and look. Murder is not a commercial crime, ladies and gentlemen. No. Hold on. Pay attention. Murder is not a commercial crime. But if you're going to be charged with murder, then they have to charge you according to the Constitution, not according to that junk they call statutes. Statutes are on a prima facie evidence. Ladies and gentlemen, when they do this preponderance of evidence, there is no such law in the Constitution that deals with a preponderance of evidence. The courts are supposed to be making rulings and decisions based on facts and conclusive law, not presumptive law, not theories. And that's where they're hammering everybody and hitting them in the head. Look, ladies and gentlemen, it is 3:22 in the a.m. And I decided, you know what? I've been so much worried about getting continuous sleep, but I also, because I have puppies, they need to be taken out because I don't want them doing anything in the house. And so I've learned a long time ago, in order to house train dogs, you have to stick to a routine. So we go out 3 times a night so that they will get used to understanding Dana Dane, this is Dana Dane, and it's Dana Dane forever, and I like Dana Dane forever, but I'm going to have to let Dana Dane go right now. It's not the night for that. Ladies and gentlemen, keeping the dogs in a routine. Eventually, I won't have to take them out at night at all, but right now they're puppies, so they cannot hold their bladder. They're like some of you who can't hold your bladder. I got to go to the restroom every 5 seconds. Yeah, so to keep them from suffering, I suffer. I get up, and so I don't get that deep REM state sleep Why? Because I care about the dogs, all right? Look, at common law and by statute, the federal district judge is charged with the duty of granting a new trial in a jury case where, in his opinion, excuse me, at common law and by statute, well, what about the Constitution? See, this common law, when you hear the courts referring to common law, they're talking about court cases. Ladies and gentlemen, court cases are not common law. A court case could never be law. This court, as to law cases, is a court of errors. Lord have mercy. They actually said that in the Fifth Circuit. Court of error. I didn't ask about a court of error. Did you see? I'd never put the word error in there at all, but this is what's coming up. The Fifth Circuit talking about courts of error. Okay, nobody asked anything about a court of error. Why? Because you've all heard them say, this is a court of law. This court is a court of law, not probabilities. Pay attention. This court in Alabama said that they are a court of law, not probabilities. Pay attention, people. That's what presumptive law is. Probabilities. It's possible. Okay? It's exclusively with a court of law. Ladies and gentlemen, the supreme law of the land, that's not prima facie, is the Constitution. The supreme law of the land, which is not prima facie, is the Constitution. They have been courts of law, or at least claiming to be courts of law, since the 1800s, 1700s, 1600s. They're supposed to be courts of law. The law of the land is the Constitution. The law of the land is the Constitution. Hold on. Come on now. Till the fun starts. Okay, the law of the land is the Constitution. Yeah, see, I do that all the time. Double tap. Ow! That's Michael Jackson, and he is. Wait a minute. How do you jump all the way over there? Sorry, I gotta correct two things. Let's do it right. Just so that you guys understand, it's supposed to be courts of law. Well, the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. It is the only law, ladies and gentlemen. Anything that contradicts the Constitution is not law. That's what they said in Madison versus Marbury. Okay? Constitution is supreme law of the land. That's Utah. Constitution is supreme law of the land. Iowa. 1907, this is United States Supreme Court. The Constitution is supreme law of the land, referring to the United States Constitution. Do not focus on the articles. The articles are not part of the Constitution, ladies and gentlemen. When you hear about the articles of the Constitution, those articles, like Section 2, Article blah, 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 those are not part of the Constitution. That junk was added sometime later by Congress. Okay, Congress added the articles. They expounded upon the will of the people. New Jersey. Let's see, who else besides New Jersey? What's that? Oh, that's Oregon. The Constitution of the United States, supreme law of the land. Everybody knows this. This is not something new. So if they are relying on the law, they must rely on the Constitution. That's how you rebut the presumption that that junk is law. If the Constitution is supreme law of the land, then they must put the law on the record and charge you with a violation of the law. Can't charge me with a violation of the law, then you need to shut up. Because that's inadmissible, and to try me for anything less is unconstitutional. Because this is supposed to be a court of law. Is it or is it not a court of law? Either you're a court of law or you're a court of statutes. Ladies and gentlemen, this thing about the military and military courts, we won't get into that right now. I just needed you all to understand the way you kill their presumption. They claim that they are courts of law. Then ask them to put the law on the record. Matter of fact, I have been for years telling them I'm going to put the law on trial. And they have broken their necks to stop me from doing exactly what you hear me talking about right now. Because the king has no clothes. They don't want me uncovering their stupidity. Okay? They don't want me uncovering the fact that they have no power. The only power they have is when you give it to them by submitting to their jurisdiction through the appearances. So, ladies and gentlemen, the next time you're taken into court, send them a constitutional challenge and call it a constitutional challenge. Pay attention to your right to challenge a statute. Challenge the statute as unconstitutional. Challenge the statute as contrary to the law of the land. Challenge the evidence that there are no facts. They keep talking about a tier of the evidence. A presumption is not evidence, ladies and gentlemen. Do you understand? A presumption is not evidence. Prima facie is not evidence. Prima facie is a theory. You cannot say, it looked like he did something wrong. That's what the police claim their probable cause is they thought he was doing something wrong. That's not how the law works. Many people want to talk about how they are American citizens. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a young man. His name is Don Kalam. And that young man is making the national IDs. In 2012, we told you about SATCOM was eventually going to get into making the non-citizen ID. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I told Mr. Killam that I was going to send you guys his way. I'll be doing a video referencing him, and this is me letting you know that I'm just getting the ID from him because it will come in handy as a secondary ID. Okay, to this day, I use my World Citizen passport will be expired as of December. This is December. Anyway, because it will be expired, I didn't feel like getting another World Citizen passport because I am one of Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm not part of the world, so I don't want to be a world citizen. So Mr. Killam has several different IDs that he produces, and they're reasonably priced. They're a whole lot cheaper than the World Citizen passport. They're a whole lot cheaper than all the other IDs out there that I was getting. The only problem is all the other IDs lasted 4 years, so I've had all of my IDs for 4 years. Remember, you can be whomever you want to be. You have that right. You just can't be two people at one time. That's fraud. So don't do that. Cannot carry two IDs on you at the same time. But if somebody wants to, let me see your ID. Here you go. What's this? What does it say? Okay, well then that's what it is, I'm sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry, that's the cell phone hearing me use a phrase and it wants to think that I'm talking to it. Like I said, it's listening to me even though it's just sitting over there and recording and uploading whatever I'm saying into the system through an algorithm. It's happening with all of you. Getting back to the law says that you must carry identification on you. It did not say you have to carry what they claim as government ID. There is no such thing as government ID. All of the agencies of government are private corporations. Their comprehensive annual financial reports document this. Comprehensive annual financial reports, or CAFRs, in conjunction with the references, notes, ledgers, and term definitions of those CAFRs will clearly document their private ownership. And they're doing the best they can to try to hide that information. That's why you want a copy of the CAFRs for the last 15 years with notes, references, and term definitions. They can't hide those records, and those records exist, and they are not private records. That's why you subpoena that junk. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I do hope that this information provides you with what you need to start challenging their presumptions. Hey, I gotta go. I got paperwork I have to do. Again, it's 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm up, and the first thing I want to do is let you guys know something. So I'm spending that type of time. You know what I'm saying? Take care, everybody.